I would like to call to order this work session of the Battle Creek Public School Board of Education. Today is Monday, February 9th, and it is 5:30. Madam Secretary, can you call us to order? Call roll, please.
Kate Flores.
Here.
Ryan Hogan Jackson. Art McClinney. Dr. Lisa Johnson.
Here.
Nathan Grayjack. Kelly Fulbright. Nicole Perry.
Present. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is being interpreted into Spanish thanks to our partners from BCPS Battle Creek. To listen in Spanish, please refer to the description in our YouTube live stream or the link. To our board members and other speakers, please remember to speak clearly and not too quickly so that our interpreters are able to keep up. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda or have any consideration for additions or deletion.
To approve the agenda.
It's been moved by Dr. Johnson and supported by Trustee Flores to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? The BCPS Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have two opportunities on our agenda tonight for public comment. The Board of Education requests you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone or the podium, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker shall be limited to a 3-minute duration. If the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. BCPS Board of Education will listen, take comment and questions under advisement and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Board of Education and not to staff or other participants. So let's begin. I have one comment card from Sarita Collins. If I said that right.
Good evening. My name is Sarita Collins, and I'm here seeking answers from you, the board. I'm hoping that you can help me. It's my understanding that this fall, before the beginning of the school year, that approximately 60% of the staff who were multilingual or EL language learners were laid off. And I don't know if this is correct, but I've heard this, so I'm just asking if that's an accurate assessment, and if so, why? And I'm sure that Battle Creek Public Schools, like many other districts in this state, has a stable or a growing multilingual EL population. And I hope that you're aware that beginning this school year, MDE is now requiring a specific number of designated and integrated English language development instruction for EL students based on their individual reading scores. And this comes as a result of Public Act 120 of 2024. And I don't want to bore you with the details, but I'm sure that you are aware of the funding that this district received in the school year of 2024 or 24-25 and 25-26, and you received an increase of approximately $32,500. And I know you can't do much with $32,500 when we're talking about instruction. However, those students deserve to have the instruction that is mandated. And I'm just really concerned for them, particularly for the Spanish-speaking students in this district, but for all the multilingual English language learners. And I'm just here to ask questions, and I really am going to be back. I'm just going to say that because I'm really concerned about those students, and I really want them to have what they need and what the state calls for. And next, in reviewing previous board meetings, I note that Trustee Kate Flores pointed out the issue about keeping students safe in view of immigration, and I really thank you, Trustee Flores, so very, very much. And I'm hoping that this district has a plan in place and that every single staff member, and I know that's a big undertaking in this district, but I hope that every single staff member knows what they must do in that situation to keep students safe. And we always say, well, it's not going to happen to us, or it won't come to our building, or all of that. But in these times, we know that it probably will, unfortunately. And I want to know if that plan includes training or some sort of a plan for bus drivers and keeping students safe when they're walking, in terms of immigration issues, walking home from the bus stop. Because we've all seen this, and I'm just very concerned about that. And my final question is, I know that busing seems to be an issue in every district. Some districts have really taken a proactive, actions to address that. And I'm just wondering what you're doing to address making sure that every student, no matter when they enroll in a school in the Battle Creek Public Schools, that they have busing and not waiting for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And I'm just going to speak for English language learner students. They don't have 2 weeks to be sitting at home waiting for you to get a bus. Every day counts for them, just like it does for every student, but 100 times more. So I'm really here on behalf of those students, and I really, like I said, I will be back, but I really would like to know some answers to that, and I will be following up, whether it's with the superintendent's office or elsewhere. But I do, as a taxpayer in this district, I do want some answers. Thank you very much for your time.
For your time, someone will be in touch with you. Okay, let's start with our student recognition for music. Are we ready for Lamora?
Okay.
All right, awesome.
Thank you for joining us. I'll let you have
Floor
the
is
floor.
yours.
Okay.
I'm sorry, friends. As you can tell, I've lost my voice, so I'll be doing my best. But I wanted to celebrate what our students have been doing at this point at Lamora Park. And we'd like to invite Emilio up. Maya doesn't seem like she was able to make it today, so I will give her her congratulations and her stuff, her fun stuff when I see her tomorrow at school, hopefully. So, I wanted to celebrate Emilio. Emilio is comes to my music class. He is ready to go. He is always on task. He is always optimistic. He's always trying his best. And I wanted to give this chance to let all of you guys know that. And yeah, he's awesome. He's an awesome music student.
Good job.
I have a fun little certificate.
You're fine.
Is it okay to post them? Okay, thank you so much.
And I have a fun little baggie with stuff in it.
Over there would be best.
Congratulations, we are so
Actually, can you go
proud
over
of
here by where Dr. Like, this direction? Because I feel like it's a little crammed over
you. Can
here.
we take
All
a
right.
picture? All right, let's come on over here.
And if you want to be in the picture, please. Come up a little bit. There you go.
There you go. Flip it around.
Yeah, there you go.
Go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good job.
Yep, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Ms. Cox, we have Northwestern next.
Yeah, it's me again. Okay, for Northwestern. First, let's see. I'm gonna ask my student Amira to come on up. Let's get this out. Here we go. Amira, I have known since kindergarten, which is very fun because she is such she is such a good musician. She is such an enthusiastic learner. She is always focused up on what we're doing. She is always engaged, and she has the best dance parties right at the end of class, which is pretty fun. Just a quick thing, it was so fun because we learned just this last week about, we're doing Black History Month, we learned about Pharrell Williams, who writes for movies. And today she came in and she's like, hey, can we listen to more Pharrell Williams music? And it's so great to see, the stuff that we teach go out and be touch kids' hearts. So, Amira, thank you so much for doing awesome in music. I have a certificate there. Sorry, again, my voice is dying. I'm trying my best. A certificate for you and a little baggie of stuff.
And there's also a certificate from the Board of Education.
Yes. Can we take your picture?
Congratulations. Thank you for being a student superstar.
More Northwestern too.
Great, we got another one coming.
Okay. Dance with her.
If you want to look first to mom, and then you can look to me.
They're like, we don't want to be in the picture.
You're not in it. So.
You got smile, please.
And then one if you want to look at mom.
Like you. There you go.
There you go. Congratulations.
Superstars here.
And I have my other student, Roberta from Northwestern. So, Roberta, come on up. Roberta, here's your certificate. Roberta, she always helps out her classmates. I just met her this year, but she has grown so much. And she has really gone from being so excited, but being so excited and over the top to using that excitement to really focus in on the music and do great work. And I'm really proud of her for that. I just love how she always comes in ready to go. When I give my get ready signal now, she's like on it, and she's awesome. So can we celebrate Roberta?
Congratulations. And we are so proud of you. Can I shake your hand?
You get
And
the
you
cute
get a
little
little
stuff
bag. All right, can we take your picture? Okay. Congratulations and thank you for being a superstar.
3, 2, 1.
Bearcat
Congratulations.
Pride.
You want one for mom?
Yeah, perfect. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Don't forget your certificate.
Okay, next we have Valley View. Said Lucky.
This one? Is it the song where I play the song?
So yeah, I give a little introduction first though.
Okay.
So I chose Serenity Ward over here as my music student of the month. We started this new assignment in 5th grade involving our Quaver online composition curriculum. And the assignment was, I wanted to test their understanding on accidentals, which are those sharps and flash, or little hashtags and B's that you see in the music, right? And what she made for us here today was really special, and I thought it needed to be shared with everyone. So she does an amazing job every day in music. I'm super proud of her.
So she composed this?
She made this by herself with no help.
Sweet.
you'll have to ask her because she's the owner of it.
Permission to use your song when I put your picture up on Facebook? Oh.
We record changes.
Copyrighted.
No, I don't want to.
Come
So
on
I
up so
also
we can
got you a
celebrate
swag
you.
bag. I got you a free instrument trophy in there. There you go. Let's get your picture.
Congratulations. Oh, that's awesome.
You want to come over here? You get a better angle. And it's okay for me to use her picture.
Superstar.
Okay, next we have Verona with Mr. Garrett.
So just do the two from Verona first?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So I got a brother, sister, but they're not both. All right.
You can do them any way you choose.
Ah, thank you. Well, I was just thinking for, family pictures, it might be easier. Okay, so let
That's
me.
fine. So we're gonna honor,
You want to do Levi and Margaret?
Yes.
Post Franklin and.
Handing out the right ones. Margaret, okay. All right, Levi and Margaret, come on up. This one, I think, has your name on it. Here you go, that's yours. Your brother and sister had the same bag, so making sure I wasn't giving you the wrong name. So these two, I didn't even know we're brother and sister at first, honestly. And I've been away from Verona for about 3 years because people keep moving me around, right? High demand, right? So, but I got to Verona, and Levi's just been a star student. I'm just telling you, like right out the gates. Anytime I'm talking, he is connected, like his eye contact. I mean, that's huge. And like before class, after class, before school, after school, he's either got questions or something to say, and he's just really highly motivated. And recently, God bless you, started learning how to play guitar, and he's really starting to pick it up. And I was really excited. I almost gave you a guitar. But I was like, that might be a little drastic. I don't, what are you gonna do next year, right? Okay, all right. So in your bags, do you care to open them up? So, and you've got your, let's not break it. I found out it's made with real glass because one broke earlier and I had to replace it. All right. I think I bought it broke, to be honest with you. When I unwrapped it, it fell apart. And I'm like, oh, you got glass. Same thing with yours. There you go. Got that. All right. And then in yours, you got an instrument. It's a recorder you can take home. And you got a couple Quaver pencils in here. And honestly, Mr. Sedlecki was nice enough to share what his supply with us. So give him credit for that. Now, Margaret, you got a cool kazoo. And you can bring it to class. But when I say I've had enough of it, well, you're welcome to bring it. All right, and you both got a Quaver trophy. That's pretty cool. So that's what you got. And then Margaret is the same way. So you can kind of tell they're from the same family. You got that eye contact, highly engaged, always singing. They're both always on track for where you need to be, always something pleasant to say, not just about me, but just people in general. And just super awesome kids, so I just want to say thank you to both of y'all.
Margaret, we have another certificate for you, so I'm gonna put that in your bag. How's that? All right?
Yeah, don't drop those, please.
There you go. We'll come over here to take a picture. Congratulations.
Right here.
There you go. 3, 2, 1. You want one? You got it? You got it? All right.
Right. Congratulations.
Can they use
Thank
can they
you.
use their picture on their website? All other stuff. Okay. Yeah.
I appreciate
Am I doing
it.
your
You got
job?
it. Yeah. No, I love it.
All right. And then, okay, we're done with brother, sister, but this next student is a post-Franklin, so we'll jump back to that. And the reason why I want to do that is, Terrence, could you come up, please? This is my third year teaching him, and you are one of the most awesome people I've ever met as a student. Seriously. And he's got the same qualities. He's always engaged, does everything you ask the first time, and like encourages other people around him. He is a true leader. Honestly, it's hard to say without choking up. It's amazing. He's amazing. And I think his dad's amazing too. We spent some time on the phone, and I can see where it comes from. So awesome. It's, did you prepare that speech I told you about?
Like, what?
He's looking at me like, what?
I'm just kidding.
Congratulations.
I'm just kidding. There was a moment there, he's like, what?
Really,
I didn't catch that. All right, let's go over here.
Come on back. Oh, we're good?
And you got the same stuff in your goodie bag. You got the same
There you go.
trophy. Awesome. All right, last one. All right, so Chloe, come on up. And you had the same thing. You had a recorder and pencils, and she also has been learning guitar and is really taken well to it. And she's got a teachable spirit. She'll sing even if other people around her aren't as likely to start singing. She will, she'll participate. And she just is just absolutely amazing. And that's yours. Remember, don't drop it. All right, you got your recorder and all that. And you're welcome to bring that to class. All right, here's your stuff.
Congratulations. Hi, Chloe, good job. Congratulations. He was supposed to be teaching me guitar.
Hey, you got my email. And you know where I work.
3, 2, 1. You can come around this way.
Yeah.
So cute.
I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Post Franklin, I'll be seeing you Wednesday.
Congratulations to all the students. We are very proud of you, and thank you for representing Bearcat Pride.
Thank you, Kavana, for coming.
Okay, now we're gonna move into our discussion.
Sorry to bail, but skip
Alright,
lunch,
I'll give
get all that
everybody a
right.
moment to.
Can I talk to him just 2 seconds?
Yes, absolutely.
Have a good presentation, Kavana.
What? Huh? We're going to get dinner.
That's right.
Oh, I thought I had a pocket. Oh, this is my first one.
Okay, so we're gonna move to our discussion session, starting off with empowering excellence, progress and achievements for Post Franklin. Savannah Matthews.
Good evening, everyone. How you all doing today?
Good.
I am excited to share with you guys about Post Franklin Elementary School this evening. To start off with our vision, we are striving for 100% success for every Post Franklin student as measured by all students scoring at or above grade level, above the 60th percentile and we use NWEA map at Post Franklin to determine that. For our mission is to produce lifelong learners who are prepared for their next step. All students will learn in a welcoming and safe environment. We believe all students can be successful. So starting out with our demographics, currently we have 214 students. We have one GSRP class that has 15 students, 3 kindergarten classes with 62 students total, 3 first grade classes with 65 students total, 3 second grade classes with 72 students total, and then we have 3 specials classes. So we have PE, math, and art.
You're like, no.
We have 3 pillars that we focus on this year for our theory of action goals. The first is academic growth, then climate and culture, and then attendance. So for our goals for the year for academic growth, we use NWEA map overall to determine if we hit our goals in reading. Last year, we ended at 45% proficient, so our goal is a 10% increase at the end of the school year. For math, we ended last year at 68%, stretch goal 10%, to end the year at 78%. For our climate and culture goal, our goal is to decrease our office referrals by 5%, and that is number by number, about 19 referrals overall. We hit that goal. For suspensions, our goal is to decrease the total number of students that are suspended by 5%, and that would equate to about 2 students to hit that goal overall. For attendance, our goal is to decrease our chronic absenteeism by 5%. So if we decrease by at least 4 students, we would hit that goal for the year.
So I'm gonna interrupt with a question. This is one of my hang-ups I bring up all the time. I hate hearing a reduction of referrals and suspensions. I say that because, this isn't directed to you, but I don't want there to be a hiding of information. So I don't want a teacher to be like, well, I'm not gonna refer you because I don't wanna mess up the metrics. So how did you move to the reduction? Did you do any root cause to say, hey, this is how we're going to address it and we'll get these behaviors addressed? Like, can you talk to me a little bit more about your how you're handling the suspensions and behavior piece?
So let me start with last year. Initially, it did come up in some conversation pertaining to referrals. At the start of the year, teachers were writing the referrals out. As a district, we went to all people having access, teachers, staff that have Skyward access, having access to enter their referrals. So we had a conversation, so we did see an increase last year, referrals overall, once everybody's all inputting them. We had conversations around what tier 1, what tier 2, and what tier 3 look like, what a class referral looks like versus what an office referral looks like in essence. So we don't stop anyone from entering a referral. If it happened in the classroom and it falls in the tier 1 range, then they log it as a referral, as a class referral. If it's a tier 2 or 3, they log it in the system, and then it goes forward as an office referral. The same with suspensions. Suspensions are issued from the building principal. So we talk as an IOT of how many kids. We use suspensions only for means of violent offenses primarily. So if it falls in the range of needing to be suspended, then we case by case make that determination. So it's a goal, but we stay in that lane.
Thank you.
Any other questions about that? STAR math growth data, sorry. So if you look at the chart in September, you'll see that we had 32.3% of our students proficient according to STAR math in September. As we have progressed, in January we had 44.3% of our students proficient according to STAR math. So that's about a 12% increase overall from September to January. Our goal in order to hit that academic goal overall is to see in math at least a 4% increase month by month, and then we will be able to attain our end of the year academic growth goal for math. Any questions for that? So with STAR reading, almost the same. We're a little lower in reading than where we are in math currently. So we have about a 5% increase to get us to that end of the year goal each month. If we hit that 5%, then we will be able to attain our end of the year academic growth goal for reading. We've had about a 13% increase overall. So in September, we started at 28.4% proficient. In January, we're at 41.4% proficient. So our goal is at least 5% going forward each month until the end of the school year. Our next area, climate and culture. As you can see, according to the chart at the bottom, the majority of our students for behavior are in Tier 1. We have 96.48%, so that's about 192 out of 199 students that are in Tier 1. That's where we want students to be. Tier 1 means that they have 0 to 5 behavior incidents and 0 to 2 suspensions. We have 1.5%, which is 3 out of 199 students in Tier 2. That would be considered 6 to 10 behavior incidents or 3 to 5 suspensions. And then Tier 3, we have 2.01% of our students in Tier 3, so that's about 4 out of 199 students. And that would be 11 or more behavior incidents or 6 plus suspensions to get there. So we, as a district, use ROAR as an acronym: resilient, optimistic, advocate, and reliable. In our school, we have a ROAR cart for our students. They can purchase from that at least bi-weekly in their class by means of ROAR tickets. And we also have a ROAR store where staff give each other shout outs. At least 5 are picked every other week, and then they purchase from the ROAR store if they're given a shout out and chosen. We have every month our PSE is what we call the Positive School Experience celebrations for the whole school. And then we're excited that our behavior interventionist is working right now with skill groups for our Tier 2 and 3 students. So they're up and running. They meet during like the lunchtime at least 2 days a week with her.
Could you just repeat for me the criteria for Tier 2 and 3 that you said?
So for Tier 2, a student would have 6 to 10 behavior incidents or 3 to 5 suspensions. For Tier 3, 11 or more behavior incidents or 6 or more suspensions. And we use Schoolalytics to track that. That's the platform that the data for this came from. For attendance, as you can see, green on the chart has 63 students, yellow has 48, and red has 88. Green is Tier 1. Tier 1 is considered low risk, so that means they have 5% or less absences. Yellow is considered Tier 2, and they're considered at risk at that point. That would be 5 to 9.99% absences so far this year. And then red is considered Tier 3, chronically absent with 10 or more %. So we have a lot of initiatives right now that we are trying to really disrupt the attendance, chronic absences. We do monthly and daily attendance celebrations. We have our students who are identified as Tier 2 with an attendance mentor. And we've had meetings with their parents. We're going to have celebrations with the students that don't move to chronically absent, just trying to really disrupt that movement going into chronically absent from at risk. And then for our kiddos that are considered chronically absent, it is required that their parents participate in an attendance meeting with myself, the district attendance interventionist, and the family advocate to talk about what are the barriers, to set some expectations, and just to move forward to, again, stop the attendance concerns that we're seeing. Just some points of pride in regards to our attendance. We have 13 students who've had perfect attendance so far this school year, for the whole school year. We have 92 students that have perfect attendance at least one time this school year. So 92 students have had at least one perfect attendance celebration during this school year so far. Some additional points of pride. We are working diligently to create a culture of literacy at Post Franklin. As an example, at this point, 124 out of 199 students, so that's 62.3%, have received at least one free scholastic book for passing at least one accelerated reader test, or by turning in a reading log. So they can read at home, fill out the log that says they read at least 5 days, and they can get a book that way too. So far, we've had 905 accelerated books read with a total average of 387,440 words read so far. We have a lot of partnerships that we celebrate who work with our school and really help us along the school year. Some that I've identified, the Post Foundation, they really support us with basic needs like food and backpacks. Duncan Aviation support us for student needs and any school events that we have. We have Operation Fit, who's there to help us teach kids about healthy food choices. Kellanova helps with student snacks. Rose Foundation, basic needs and eyeglasses. The Hope Closet, clothing support. And we also have 4 CAA grandparents that we call grandmas that work with the students in class. So they assist with reading, they assist with additional support, one-to-one with kids, small groups. As a teacher asked them, really all of them are pretty well engaged. We have multiple opportunities for families to engage in our school community. Some of the examples, kindergarten roundup, holiday book and cereal distribution, the Thanksgiving holiday food basket giveaway, parent and teacher conferences. We had the fall conferences already. Spring is coming up in March, and literacy nights, and we do have another literacy night coming up in March as well. We're going to talk about some upcoming events. So this week, February 11th, is our Valentine's dance, and we are starting a parent-teacher organization at Post Franklin, so it's going to be a kickoff. We are charging for this because the funds will kick off the PTO, and they will use it to support our school. We are going to provide a meal to families, which is going to be provided by Mitts to Pitts Catering, which is a family-owned business here in town, and they are voluntarily helping with this event. On February 18th is going to be our first PTO meeting and meet and greet with the principal. It will be at Post Franklin from 4:15 to 5. The room number is room 112. If you have any questions about that, you're welcome to give us a call at Post Franklin. Then for March, we got a lot going on at Post Franklin. March is reading month. Anybody that is interested in coming over to read in our classes, we'd love to have guest readers. Sign up to read. You can call either me, you can call the secretary, or our family advocate. But all are welcome, and we look forward to it. Then lastly, parent and teacher conferences, March 5th and 10th at Post Franklin as scheduled. March 18th will be our second PTO and dialogue with the principal from 4:15 to 5. And then March 25th is a literacy night at Post Franklin from 4:30 to 6 in the gym. Thank you.
That's a great job. So question, I want to understand more about the challenges that we have to literacy. So it doesn't look like we're necessarily impacted by behaviors or tier 3 because that's low. I'm wondering, like, from your perspective, like what do you diagnose as some of the reading challenges that we're having since we're not meeting target? What's working, what might not be working? So what have you learned about that?
So we are really working diligently, especially elementary principals in general, just to really streamline the different programs that we're using with the students beyond our tier 1. So thinking about as we move into the tier 3 range, like really trying to figure out if a student is not picking up letter naming or letter sounds, what do we need to use for intervention for that catch-up growth to occur? So we are working on that prescription, but we're missing some gaps along the way, and so now we are working very diligently to figure out what those gaps and skills are and what programs will target that particular gap or skill missing.
One other question, and I'm asking this for everybody, just because I really do like to center our work as a board from what we're hearing from our leaders and our students. So from what we can influence as a board, what would you like us to consider, think about, focus on? It could be strategy, funding priorities. Like what feedback would you have for the board, if there's anything?
I would love, honestly, we have a lot of things that we're requesting in the moment, but just helping with when we have events and things coming up, being present with us. We could use anytime support of coming in and helping us read with kids, work with kids. But as far as funding sources, like we're going to get the programs that we need and different things. Help with field trips, giving exposure to kiddos outside of what they would see in the day-to-day range.
I have a question. there was a comment earlier around our English language learners, and I know Post Franklin has historically been a really strong hub, where we have a high percentage of English language learners, and historically, in my personal experience, has done a really great job. So I'm just curious about the current makeup of the student body and how you're working with that population.
So we do have multi-language students in our building. The languages that they speak, we have Hispanic, Spanish-speaking families. We have Swahili-speaking families. We have Arabic-speaking families in our building. We have a part-time multilingual teacher who supports the work with our ML population along with the teachers and all of our staff in the building. We have an ML multi-language tutor who is there full-time in the building that works and pulls groups. So we use kind of a both-and model at Post Franklin. The ML teacher pushes in to support classroom teachers and students, and the ML tutor pulls out to give an extra dip as well of support.
Okay, I have a question that it sort of piggybacks off of one of yours, and I was thinking through, how do we leverage parents, if you do, to help reach some of these milestones around math and reading? Is there any engagement, or will the PTO seek to start doing that?
So with the literacy nights, we have been in the past, but the PTO will be stepping in to help with that. We want more of a parent voice within the Post Franklin school community. We've done surveys in the past. I've done dialogue with the principal, come in and have a conversation. We didn't get a large turnout, but we did get some to come out. So we're hoping that with the PTO and kicking that off, that we'll have more of a voice and more programs and more events to help support families at home with also partnering with us in school.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, we will have our next Empowering Excellence presentation for Battle Creek STEM Innovation Center. Principal Manley.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So always excited to get to come up here and tell you guys all the great things that are happening at Battle Creek STEM. I'd like to start with our demographics. This year we are at 167 students. 67 of our students are African American. We have 30 multi-ethnic students, 23 Hispanic, 35 white, 2 Native American / Alaskan, and 1 Asian student. I should share that boils down to, I'm gonna not have this total because I think we lost one to Kalamazoo and one to Detroit recently, but we had 59, that was about 59 6th graders, 59 7th graders, and 8th graders, our lowest out of 48. Starting with our NWA MAP reading data, we have really focused in the middle school world on trying to work through what it looks like to ensure our students are proficient readers. And so you will see 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade data, and then you'll see all school data. And then you'll see from spring of last year, fall of this year, winter of this year, and then the green bar being our goal. And on this slide, you'll see our all reading data, and then as well as our black boy reading data. One of the things that I'm very proud of for our students is our 6th and 8th grade reading data. We've seen an increase this year. If you look at 8th grade, we've seen a steady increase since last spring. And collectively, we've kind of held steady from the fall to the winter with our reading overall data, which probably accounts for that 7th grade dip that we see going on right there, which is an area in which we'll be digging into, which kind of held us steady. But if we look at our black boy data, which is another area of pride, our 6th and 8th grade student black boy data increased dramatically. And we have met the goal for our African American boy data for the end of the school year as of mid-year. But we also see a dip at 7th grade as well for our black boy data.
Question on your date. So the spring 25, that would have been like the previous class, and then fall and winter are so like a 6th grade or a 7th grader in the spring would show up in your fall.
No.
8th grade?
7th grader spring data is the 7th grade. It's following the student.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So like that 6th grade data is all the 6th graders coming together.
Got it.
We were able to pull that information up in MAP when they roll our rosters.
Okay, so it is so it is students, so that 7th grade dip, that is really stark being the same students, and even more stark for the math boys. Have you drilled in to identify what's going on there at all? I mean,
So I did. I had some questions at 8th grade, of course. And one of the things I like to tell people is this 8th grade group, when they came in 6th grade, we actually were, as a whole, collective grade level 50% proficient. We lost a teacher. We went through some things that year, and we kind of lost some students in the data. In middle school, we're in the world of really making sure students take things seriously first so that we can actually know what students are doing, and I think we're kind of at that point. 7th grade is our middle child, and so we work through and struggle through with that often. And what I pulled the data because I was like, is this one classroom? What was going on? I actually pulled both up, and what I found is it was about 13 to 14 in one class and 13 to 14 in another class, and so I was like, oh, well, look at that. So it was spread about when we looked at the African American male data for the 8th graders for sure. And then I went through students in MAP. You can look at them over the years to see if they're following the common trend, and a lot of them were spot on. I was proud to see that one of our 8th grade students, black male, scored in the 96th percentile when they took the OSAT test, which was the highest for our group, and we had at least 4 or 5 students in the group who moved on after the first entry assessment, black boys, to the next one. So we genuinely do seem to have a really smart group of students who have to break perception. People may not look at, but they are pretty quick. Before we go on to math,
you had something.
Yes,
Well,
I'm sorry.
that was a nice jump, right, in the 8th grade, so that was gonna be my question, just.
And I will be talking about some of the things that we do with them. That will kind of share we'll get to some of what we see here. With AR, this is from this year. One of the things we work really hard on in middle school is making sure students are reading quality books and not just short, quick books to take a test, because that's easy to do with our kiddos. And since the AR challenge started in December, we went from 300 to just under 400 books and tests passed for students. And this includes not only the books that they read, but we also work to make sure that the teachers in the classroom are reading engaging books with the students as well. Account for that. Here's our math data. Our math data is not as high as our ELA data. That has been an area that we've had to put some extra work in over the last couple of years. I'm proud to say this year we have a strong math team, which has not been always the case. And so I'm looking forward to see what our team can do this year. So you will see that in 7th and 8th grade in this data, we've seen an increase, and then we've seen a small dip in 6th grade data. But our overall for math has been an increase towards our goal. And if you look at the black male data, it's reversed. So 6th and 8th grade, the black male data seems to have gone down, but then our 7th grade data has increased. And so it's worth noting and looking into, which is a next step that I'll talk about here in a minute, what I'll be doing with teachers to see what's happening in the classroom, so what we can duplicate, and then what we can do to make sure we see student scores increase. Any questions here? All right, so how do we support our students? So we have a few things going on. It's a little bit of a challenge in the middle school world to make sure you are giving students what they need to be successful, given they move from place to place. But this year we've figured some things out, and we've seen some successes from it. And so ELA and math, of course, has to be standards-based. We follow our district curriculum and our pacing guide for assessments. And then we've also been able to include Tier 2 instruction for math and ELA on a daily basis. So what that looks like is teachers are doing formative assessments during class to see what students are understanding when it comes to the lessons that's being taught. And at the end of the day, for math, it's 6th period. They are pulling students for additional time to give them support. And in ELA, it's 4th period. They're pulling students to give them additional support on the standards that are being taught during the time. Also, weekly PLCs, our teams meet. We are heavily focused on what students are doing in the classroom, if they're learning, and how do you know? And if they're not, what do we need to do next? I have monthly data conferences with my teachers, and because there is a focus on monitoring student data, they fill out a similar form so that when we come together, it doesn't matter where you are in your curriculum, you should be able to always tell me what your students are doing, how they're doing, and what you're doing to make sure that they get what they need to be successful. We also have a structure in our schedule for Tier 3 intervention. So we have what is called house that I'll talk about in a little bit, which happens every single day. It's a structure in our schedule, but on Wednesday we call it flex time. And flex time is a longer period of time, and students in ELA, or teachers for ELA and math, pull groups of 10 to 15 students, and they provide them tier 3 intervention, meaning if they're 2 or more years behind, they find the skill, say it's math, and there's this 3rd grade skill that they're missing. They pull those students and they reteach to ensure they get that missing gap to support them in accelerating their growth when they're in the classroom. So for example, 6th grade determined students are struggling at borrowing. It was this weird phenomenon that was happening. So the teacher pulled a group of students who that data pulled for them, and she provided intervention, because sometimes when students are solving for a problem, they get the concept, but they're doing a part of it wrong. And so going back and providing that tier 3 intervention is supporting some of the growth that we are seeing. Also, we celebrate our students. We had NWA MAP and AB Honor Roll celebration just last Thursday. It's a little late because of snow days. We were able to take 140 students out of 167 to the bowling alley last week. And I'm proud to say that 130 of them were because they either met their goal in one of ELA or math, or they were at grade level in ELA or math on the MAP assessment. We wanted to acknowledge that some students may not have met their goals, but they're doing their job in class, and so they're on the AB Honor Roll, and so there was about 10 students. And so largely students did a really nice job at focusing in and doing their best. I also adjusted some time with my teachers. You'll notice I spent a lot of time with my teachers because they're the biggest influence on our students. For PLC with ELA and Math, to make sure I'm able to meet with both of them so that we are really able to, all the PLCs are on Wednesdays, and so splitting them apart allows me to give them both individual time. And then I also do grade level meetings with students. After the last STAR map test, I presented the data to the students. In 7th grade, were not happy with themselves when they seen how 6th grade and 8th grade did on ELA. And they were kind of like, you're telling us I was like, yeah, let's focus on 7 though, because they were not happy. And the same with math, and when we share the data out like that, then when teachers give the STAR assessment, they goal set, and they say, remember where you scored last time. What are you trying to do? And they're very big on, middle schools are competitive. Yes. They like to be the best. And so they'll try hard just to get the name of being the best. So oftentimes I think they want us to buy them something, and they just really want the prize of announcing to the world that they did better than everybody else. And so we really try to motivate them to tap in when they assess so that we can really see what they're able to do. That's often my message. We need to see what you're able to do so that we can help you and then celebrate you. Here's our attendance and behavior data. Currently, 87% of our students are not chronically absent. And if you break it down by grade level, you'll see that our struggle, the area that we struggle in the most is 8th grade. Our 6th and 7th grade students, I go back and forth between about 89 to 92, 93% not chronically absent. So my attendance team has focused in on our 8th graders to see what we can do to increase or improve their attendance. And then for behavior, 98.8% of students are tier 1. We have 0 tier 3 students, and we have 2 tier 2 students right now. So what that equals is 52 office discipline referrals to date.
You said you had 0, say that one more time.
0 tier 3 students.
Okay.
Yep. And 13 students who have been suspended to this point in the school year. And if I talk through some of the things that we've done, we work really hard on climate and culture in the building this year, and creating small communities. And so each student is part of a house. There are 8 houses, and each teacher has a group of students, and the goal is to build community rapport, have circles in the classroom. I'm getting ahead of myself on this slide here. And goal set with the students. In addition to that, we do perfect attendance parties, and it sounds different than what it is. We pick a span of time. So I'll announce, like if you're here for the next 2 weeks, you can enjoy the perfect attendance celebration. And then I always tell them you always have another opportunity because we'll do it every single time. We do not penalize students that are sick. Tell them if they're sick, they're part of the party. You can't control getting sick. To incentivize them to want to come to school. We want them to think of school as a fun place to be, and our attendance numbers. And then my parent advocate makes daily phone calls. She pulls a report second hour, and if a student is absent, she's calling home. And sometimes we get a lot of kids that come in when she calls home. and it helps us to figure out what barriers different students have. We have transportation issues, parents that go to work really early. My parent advocate has gone out her way and she's picked kids up for school in the morning. Sometimes we have parent issues if they're with one parent will let them stay versus another parent, but that parent didn't know, and that helps communication and build the bridge and get students to school. And then our students like to be engaged. We have a group of students that love to be leaders, and so we try to tap into them owning some things. They always know my non-negotiable is you grow and you do better. And if we're gonna do that, what would you like to do? So we have a Roar Store system with the Ron Clark Academy RCA House Points, where students are awarded points for behavior and for being a good citizen in the building. And part of that is a store where they can buy things with the points that they earn. Our students are the ones who fill the orders. Teacher taught them how to pull the orders up on the computer, fill the student orders, and at the end of the day, students are able to get their orders from the Roar Store. We've recently started working concession stands at the high school, because we have staff that works over at the high school, and then we also have student ambassadors that support us when we need help. So if we have visitors in the building, or we have new students to the building, we usually pair them with a student to support that other student.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I know you said you were in the early phases of the drop-off or attendance, but you had like the 91% for 6th and 7th and 8th grade drops. Have you guys found out?
So a good chunk of those students in attendance are also the students in behavior. Yep. And so what we found is there's at least 5 or 6 8th graders who are part of our behavior that have been suspended, and those are we don't suspend for nonviolent offenses, and so those are hands-on situations. And so part of what I'm going to talk about is an approach we're working to take to see if we can support that number to increase. I mentioned House with the Circles and Goal Setting. My staff and I read the Equity and Social Justice 50 that's written by Buren St, which is 50 questions that educators can ask themselves to see if they're being an ethical educator in the classroom. And we just do a question or two at staff meetings. They're very short and very quick. We do grade level meeting check-ins. I do them as a school, I do them as a whole grade level, or I do them as a cohort. My behavior interventionist does social emotional flex groups on Flex Wednesday, and so he just most recently changed his group, and we do this based off the data, the tier 2 that we're finding in the data. Those are the students that we're focused on, especially 8th grade boys and our 7th grade group of boys who may be having issues. And then on top of that, Flex Time, the behavior interventionist and the Bearcat coach both have a caseload of students that they check in with on a daily basis to kind of set them up for success as they go to class and while they're in the hallway. Points of pride. I am proud of our Black boys and the data that we've seen. It is not something they are not capable of, and so I was happy to see them do this, and this will only motivate them to want to do better the next time they assess. And then overall, the growth that we've seen in our assessment data, we are moving in the right direction, and if we continue to tighten up some of the things that we're doing in the classroom as educators, we'll see this for our students. It's been a long time coming, seeing 6th, 7th, and 8th grade numbers get to 60, and so I'm proud of the 6th and 7th grade numbers, and so that I firmly believe next year we'll just increase our enrollment with the incoming 6th graders that we'll have. For the Math and Science Center this year, we had 18 students who went from the first assessment to the second round of assessments that they just did last week, which I think is our largest group of students today. It's going forward, yep. And then our bowling incentive and attendance. We have that area of struggle, but we've been doing a good job at getting our kiddos to school. A few pictures here. I do want to mention the programmatic side of it. We are continuing our journey on project-based learning, and we continue to partner with Van Andel Institute. So the middle pictures are the students on their field trip in Grand Rapids at the Van Andel Institute of Education, where they do hands-on inquiry with them. All of them have went this year. The pictures on the left, you'll see the top is 6th graders working on their PBL, which is a 3D landform that they were able to show off in the winter showcase. And the bottom was the DNA blueprint. And then on the right is just celebrating our kiddos. At the top, we have a house trophy that travels, and the kids really enjoy getting that. And then we like to compete in funding. So in the winter, we do decorating competitions and our gingerbread houses. We do those annually. Those are big deals. And in the middle is just a planning document. Van Andel also supports the teachers in planning for project-based learning. And they have been with us 3 times, I believe, this year to help us prepare for showcase with our students. We are also continuing our partnership with Access Vision. To date, all of our kids, all of our 7th graders have been trained on camera, and they've been trained on editing. And then right now we have a small group of students going through studio training with Access Vision. Our 6th graders go to the OEC every Friday. I love, now that it's cold, they always ask me if we're going to the OEC, and I have to tell them, if you are at school, you are going to the OEC, guys. And they gripe and groan, but they come back with big smiles on their face, you should know. Last Friday they went sledding. And then, yes, they do a lot of teamwork at the OEC. They do data collection, and then they do a lot of fun stuff. They enjoy their time. So my key takeaways is my students really do want ownership. They're in the age where they're trying to figure things out, but they also want to own what they do. They want to be successful. They don't always show it, and they actually sometimes will give you the adverse reaction, but at the end of the day, they do want to be successful. And they love to be celebrated. They're big kids at heart. It's funny when we're able to see the kid come out of them. One of the things I sit on with my staff that I am this year is that the students will become whatever educators believe them to be. So we often have to work on what we say to each other and to the kids and what we believe about our students and our actions, because they pick up on that and they will tell us what they think adults in the building think or say about them. Upcoming events, so we do have an event this week. Van Andel is coming to us on Thursday. Curiosity on Wheels is going to be a family event, so you're welcome to come on out. They're going to do some hand-on inquiry with students and their families, and so that parents are able to see the experience students get when they go to Grand Rapids. And then we have our spring showcase in March. This is the big one. The December one was meant to be mock, so the students got a feel for what it looks like to present and share their learning. And teachers also, since we're going in the project-based learning process, had the experience to walk through our different way of planning this year. Kavana shared a lot of things that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that too. We do have conferences coming up in March. And our PTO is alive and well. We have a PTO meeting on Monday as well. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
No questions. I just want to say I really appreciate your perspective and your leadership style as well, because there's so much information about when we have high expectations of our students, especially African American students. We create an environment where they perform well, perform better. Part of the reason you shared earlier is being competitive, right? And thinking highly of them. So I just want to say that I really appreciate your style and your approach. Thank you.
I'll just add a comment. For the point of pride, it's the 18 students testing for the Math Science Center. That's huge. That's been an area of opportunity in the past, so glad to see that STEM is creating that pipeline for our Battle Creek Public Schools to take advantage of that. So thanks for that.
I will share there was something new that I learned around the equity and social justice in that conversation, and I think I really like that, and that seems like an example of a best practice, and what others could potentially do to have what sounds like these small conversations that are had regularly. So thank you for sharing that, and for all of your presentation.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, then we will then have our last Empowering Excellence presentation coming from Battle Creek Area Math and Science Center. Ms. Jimerson. I know that's what threw me off. I was like, wait.
Good evening. I'm Tamara Jamerson, the director of the Battle Creek Area Math and Science Center, and very pleased to be here to do this presentation for you all. So, attendance. Our attendance in the building, the target goal is for 90%, our students to be in attendance at the rate of at least 90%. To me, it's very important for us to hold them at that expectation. Kids can do this. They've proven to me that they can do this. Data is regularly shared with our students on the data wall. So I have a data wall with grades and attendance, and I track those every month, and I check them every Monday. So kids know I'm gonna look at that every single Monday. I'll give them an average rate of their attendance at the end of the month, but I track that every Monday, so if I see someone's having an issue, I can either connect with them or connect with the teacher to see how we can help them. And then when it goes on the data wall, you literally see kids going up to the data wall looking at the data. And they're wondering, what's happening. They mention it in our all-school celebrations. I had one student who you'll see a quote from at the end. When he saw the 11th grade attendance rate, he came up to me and he said, from Battle Creek Central, he said, he said, that's not getting it, Mrs. J. We got to, the 11th grade got to do something. I said, well, that's up to you guys. I said, so be a leader and make that happen. And so our current attendance rate right now is at 92%, and that's even with snow days. We had one snow day, and we thought kids weren't going to show up, and they showed up. Or sports events or whatever, our kids show up. Student-led accountability, like I said, to foster collective culture of engagement. And during that whole school celebration, I actually asked them trivia questions about what's on that board. And to my surprise, sometimes the kids know the difference in percentage between what grade or who's in the lead or what have you, and they really like to share that. And of course, you got to give them something. They like something. They like to eat. So always trying to find something to give them to thank them for being engaged in that. And then we honor and appreciate our students reaching that goal at over 90%. The student experience. We do prepare our students for high demanding careers. It's got a blend of high school learning and support with kind of that college style of learning so that they understand. I've witnessed kids come back from when I wasn't even a director talking about their experiences in college, particularly like with the research class, and they'll say that they see other students there that didn't have a research class experience in high school and how they struggled, and they really appreciate having that experience. Advanced and accelerated courses, additional college counseling. We have a wonderful counselor at the Math and Science Center, very dedicated, does a lot of work with our students, does a lot of presentation and work with our families to get them prepared. Graduate level laboratory space. If any of you would like to come in at any time and check out what the kids are working on, that would be great. STEM competitions and extracurricular activities, our unique volunteering opportunities, and then we have our Rotary Interact Club that we just started last year, and they actually worked with the Rotary Club, and we did a Halloween activity actually for the community. And so it was a nice way to get kids into our building. They experienced the haunted house, they experienced science activities, and they were able to trunk or treat. So hopefully this year we'll be able to expand the exposure to that and get more students and families into the center.
I have a question. Can you give us some examples about the volunteer?
Yep. So we have, So like for the holidays, we had some students who went down to Full Blast to help them stuff bags. We do river cleanup. We've had students go and plant trees. We've had kids, we have our BCPS schools bring kids into our building for a STEM experience, and we have kids who volunteer to do that. So we have a lot of things that we try to put together for our kids to be able to volunteer for, community-based or school-wide. Let's see. Family engagement. I hold 2 family information nights to support freshman recruitment efforts, new student orientation, again, the volunteer opportunities for student activities. Our parent group, which is our P squared group, and that's like a PTA. And so that's what we call our PTA, we call it P squared. And we actually have seen an increase in membership this year. and volunteerism. So we've had parents come in and volunteer. We have our Friday snack. I gotta do that because the kids say I say it wrong. But the parents come in, they sell the kids the snacks again because they like to eat. And then the snacks are something that we give out a nice certificate during Student of the Month, and they can cash that in for a free snack on Fridays. Bi-weekly student progress reporting, so our teachers send those out to families every 2 weeks so they know how their kid is progressing. We offer both virtual and in-person conferencing. The research symposium, which the date will be at the end of the slide presentation, so you'll know. But if you would like to come in and see some students do some great research projects and presentations, that is an awesome time to be able to do that. And then we have our senior celebration and then a Reach open house. How will your student, or how will our students support it? So we provide academic mentors for some students who are below a C average, and they get that weekly mentoring support. And it's really kind of based on the conversation that we have with kids about what is it that you need, what do you need from us to help you? And we find out a lot about some kids. Some kids don't have their parents at home. We've had kids who they don't go to bed because they're playing on their video games. We have a conversation with them about that. And some of them say, well, but I'm really smart, but yeah, you need sleep too.
Yes.
So just talking to them and then trying to help them learn to be responsible, because when you go to college, you're not going to have anyone there to kind of, beat you and stay on you for that. We do individual action plans for kids. So if we have a student, because we offer extended learning, where kids can come in and they can get extra help during the school day. Teachers are always available. Now there's some kids who choose to do it, and then there's other kids who we say, you don't have a choice to do it. We need for you to go and get this assistance so you can reach your C or above to stay out of danger for probation and things like that. Required supports again are scheduled, and then documented tracking. So grades, interventions, family student contact logs, and for transparency and progress reporting. And again, with the grades and the intervention, we have a system in which we put that in so we can kind of track how students are doing. And like I said, I do that every 2 weeks so I can kind of keep an eye on a pulse. Not every 2 weeks, sorry. I look at grades and attendance every week. Points of pride. This semester really reflected a clear academic acceleration for us, with strong proficiency rates and meaningful growth across cohorts. So when I say, and I'll explain this to you, but that 35% achievement gap was closed in one semester. And I'll tell you what that data represents. As of December, 92.5% of all of our students in grades 9 through 12 maintain a C or above. So when you look at that 35% achievement gap, in the beginning of the year, I gave them 2 weeks to kind of get themselves acclimated. And after 2 weeks, I pulled those grade reports every week. And that's when I was reporting out to the kids. Hey, and they were really getting agitated with the ninth graders, because the ninth graders they were rocking it out. They stayed at over 90% the whole time. That includes our BCC students, but I take my back. I'm sorry, I get too excited. But I tell them, this is what this looks like. You guys are at 58% for the 11th grade in September. That's where Kaylin looked at that and said, no, we're not doing that. And he told his classmates, we are not doing that. And so every week, every month, I tracked that. And you steadily saw it growing, ticking up, ticking up, ticking up, ticking up, until we got to the end of the semester. And we had 93% of our kids at or above a C in the building. And then that includes our 12th grade students also, who ended up from 68 to 93%. Points of pride with enrollment. Really had to take a hard look at testing kids, reaching out to kids, having them not feel intimidated by what the center represents for children. Because a lot of times they think that only the smart kids, or sometimes smart kids don't even think that they're capable enough to be there. So I really try to do some methodical reach out and expand the number of kids that we tested. Part of that was getting people in schools to bring kids to us because I wanted them to see the center. And our kids really are our best ambassadors. They love that school. And it's kind of cute when the kids are going to take the test, and after they do the tour, they say, "Good luck, you guys. You can do this." And then and the kids are high-fiving and stuff. So really try to show students when they come that it is a place of caring. And we all care for one another, and we want them to feel that way. So student engagement has translated into authentic peer-to-peer recruitment in that building, with students becoming the center's strongest ambassadors. Because like I tell people, I can tell you all day long that the Math and Science Center is great, because I think it is, I know it is, but it has to come from the kids. It can't just come from me.
I'm sorry, can you help me understand those numbers real quick? The pre-screened, it says.
You want me to go back?
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna mess this up.
You won't mess it up.
Oh, there it is. So, okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so 358, is that one year to the next, or was that number?
Nope, last year, I was able to touch 358 kids before we even started all the big assessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I was able to expand that to 917.
Okay.
So I got to every school. I had a goal to get to every school, give kids that initial assessment. And a lot of that is to help them feel comfortable too. Because when they come in, they're intimidated about that testing. So that first test, I always say, this is kind of fun. It's a puzzle. We're gonna show you, yeah, we're gonna show you how to do it, and all this stuff. And then they calm down and they were able to do that. Whereas before, in some districts and schools, kids could just opt out and not even try. And I just at least want them to try. And so this year I was able to get 915 to try.
So, and then is it of those 915 or 17? Did those, and you enrolled 358 of those?
Nope. 358 were the number of kids that I total that took all 4 tests last year. This year I got 917 to start this process with me.
But that second number also is 358. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry. Yep. That's our enrollment right now from those kids. That was pre-screen last year. Our enrollment right now is 358. That includes grades 9 through 12. So yeah, ironically, the number looks the same. Yeah. Yeah.
So out of this big pool, you got down to the 358.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to understand. Thank you.
Let's see.
Well, just to be clear, that 358 is not coming out of the 900 because the 358 is the entire enrollment, 9 through 12.
Yes.
Whereas the 900 are people that take like this first pre-screening, and then and then that doesn't represent then those that take the full assessment.
Because they take that one assessment, and a lot of kids decide if they're going to opt in to come. I've got kids that come on Saturdays. I got schools. Well, my cohort is gone, but I have schools that I go to do the assessment. Schools that come to me to do the other 3 assessments. So this is like a wheel turning for the whole testing season, and it actually goes from about October. And because of the snow, to last week. But I got in every school. And now I'm down to the point where they're turning in their applications, and I'm tallying and getting teacher recommendations and see where we land with recruitment. And so within the Math and Science Center, BCC students are setting a new standard for performance in that building. There's 20 BCPS seats allocated for 25-26. All of those seats were filled, 100% of those seats were filled, and I was able to add 2. So we actually have 22 BCPS students in seats at the center. Now, out of those 22 students in those seats at the center, they're all still there. Nothing happened during the semester. No one left. And that is that's just a testament to our staff, the team building that we did at the beginning of the year. And those kids really feel comfortable and like they're a part of the center. Last year we filled all seats, and subsequent years we filled all of our seats. We're at a total enrollment right now of 60 students. My goal every year is if I can hold on to my 25 BCPS students that'll go up every year. And I'm looking at having some of the highest graduating classes of students who belong to BCPS. I'm a little bit ambitious, so I'm gonna say 2 years. And I suspect that we'll have one of the highest numbers of BCPS students graduating from the center. And then they're at a 90% attendance rate. That's Battle Creek Central High School students are at a 90% attendance rate. They want to come to school. They want to be at school, and they're there every day, ready to rock and roll. So just like I said, just a great group of kids. And I also tell them, I graduated from Central, so y'all can't come up in here just doing what y'all want to do. We got a standard we got to set. So all the kids, those are 3 of my babies right there. They're always smiling and stuff, but they're just doing a wonderful job. Does anybody have any questions? African American boys, they're knocking it out the park. 5 of those boys are on the basketball team. 3 of them start for Battle Creek Central's varsity team. Just awesome, sharp kids. We got one there that likes to play the guitar, and they're awesome. So this is, yes.
I just have a question. So it's the incoming process, and then, I assume there's different things that you might lose kids. Do you ever add kids? Like, can people join?
Thank you for asking that question. So yes, we do add kids. So I added 2 at semester. They were from other districts, but again, we're the fiduciary of this program, so we do need kids to help us keep us going. But next year, I'll already have from the counselors at Battle Creek Central 5 kids who want to come next year. And they're 9th graders now, and they want to enter into the 10th grade. Now, there are some things that we have to do and some prerequisites for them, and a parent meeting to see if it'll be a good fit, because it is hard to kind of step into a climate and culture and you didn't really make those connections and relationships with people. But yes, they're more than welcome to join us. Yeah. So
If seats are available.
If seats are available, yeah.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So with the graduation, is there any special cords or something that shows that they graduated out of Math Science Center?
So they do receive a core, but we don't call it a graduation at the Math and Science Center. They've completed their math and science credits or equivalent. They do get a core, and they graduate from their high school, because we try not to step on toes with that piece. But yep, we acknowledge them. The celebration is really great too.
Yeah, I was referring to Central kids. So yes.
Okay. Yep. So this is from Kaylin, junior at BCC. The community here at the center is very kind, open-minded, and welcoming. The educational environment is great, and the coursework is very challenging. So when I called him down to ask him to write this for me, I called him out of his chemistry class. He was like, write it for me. And I said, Kaylee, he said, well, what do I say? I said, say what's on your heart. And he wrote it, and then when he got done, he said, there you go, Mrs. J. Now I got to get back to class. It's chemistry time, and I'm missing a lesson. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, but Kaylin, like I said, he's just a great kid. And I did have one of the staff from the high school tell me that this is like one of the first times that kids have not come to him and say that kids of color have come to him and said that they don't feel like they fit in at the Math and Science Center. And so that makes me feel really good about that, because I was concerned about that myself, but I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I always give you kudos for that, because I was in the Math Science Center my freshman year, and I left for that reason.
You didn't go back.
That was over 20 years ago, so
Yeah.
that's not on your watch, but
Yeah.
that is a great indicator.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, no questions, just a comment, kind of similar to what I shared with Mrs. Fanning, but I really appreciate, like, you can tell you are persistent and consistent with students and hold high expectations, but also very compassionate in your approach. So I appreciate, like, the mentorship and some kids, it's voluntary, other kids, you gotta go, right? Some of those things. So I like that. I like the Monday. I check this every Monday. I look at the student report, and then we have a plan and how we follow up with those students to make sure they stay on track. So I love that. Just wanted to give you kudos for your leadership on that.
Thank Thank you. You'll see more next year. I'm getting my mojo now, so you'll see some more stuff cropping up next year. But any more questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move to our reports and recommendations. Item A, we will talk about the Black Boys and Men Symposium. Dr. Carter, we have you to offer that.
Yeah, so the fourth annual Black Boys and Men Symposium at Grand Valley State University has been an ongoing professional learning opportunity for leaders and teachers here in Battle Creek Public Schools. It has had a profound impact in helping us change and shift cultures and mindsets. This year, I'm pleased to report that it's actually coming to Battle Creek. And so we would love to send individuals as reported in your packet. And so I will open it up for any questions.
When is it?
It is June 11th, I want to say. Is that on here?
It wasn't in the description.
10th through the 12th. 10th through the 12th. June 10th through the 12th.
And you said it's coming to Battle Creek. Is it going to be at the school or?
At the Doubletree.
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah. And so can board members go too? If we want? Now, of course, I would pay for myself. But.
And we have funding that we could also support board members going as well. So board members are welcome to attend. We are sending it out to area districts. So if there is a board member that would like to attend, they just need to email Kawita and we'll add that to the roster. Any other questions about the symposium?
I think it's a huge get, and I'm super stoked that Battle Creek is hosting it. I'm curious, I don't know if it's inside the scope of this or not, like, do you know, like, why it was chosen to move to Battle Creek? I mean, I can guess this might work great, but, like, was there conversations about this?
Yeah, so they called me to really talk about moving it around.
Okay.
And given the support and engagement of Battle Creek Public Schools, they thought, why not try here in Battle Creek?
I recognized what we've been doing, yeah.
Yeah, because of our longstanding relationship, as well as the connections with the center. And so it was a great opportunity. It was between Battle Creek and Detroit, and look where they chose.
That's amazing. It's a point of pride. I'm really excited.
Any other questions? No? Okay. We'll move on to item B, National Association of Black School Educators Midwest Region Conference. As you report, Dr.
Yeah, so the Midwest region, we sent some individuals to the national conference, and that was a big hit, but we can't afford to send everybody to the national conference. And so I let some staff members know that when the Midwest Regional Conference came a little bit closer, that we would sponsor some opportunities to engage in that. And I just want to share, there was resounding learning from the national conference, and one of the things, the feedback, after every conference, those who attend have to turn in reports about what they learned and how they will implement it, and then what was the impact on them. I think this one sat with me from a participant. The impact is very difficult to quantify because it is an immersive experience. Immersion with other professionals who look, talk, and walk the path of improving outcomes for Black students is something that is both irreplaceable and difficult to place into a metric. It had such a profound impact with recharging, refocusing, and realigning my mindset on what is possible for our students. And so I want to continue to weave that into other individuals and asking for the board support and sending additional information to individuals. Questions? And board members can go to that as well. There is a board strand, so if interested, please let me know. And that one is, let's say April.
End of April.
It's in Ohio, right?
In Ohio.
I think it's the 29th through the 2nd.
What date school?
29, April 29th to May 2nd.
Any questions?
Just to highlight, I like these professional development opportunities focusing on marginalized communities, people of color, and it makes me curious about our recruiting and retention for people of color. I can see, right, at least administrative level, we're doing pretty good, and I'm curious about building leadership, other roles, teachers, and things like that, that we're also attending to that as well.
So I think we'll go deeper into that at our mid-year check-in, and so each department will be presenting to the board at the next board meeting as part of the mid-year report, and we can share more information around those metrics. All right, thank you.
Do we have any additional public comments? Okay, let's move to the superintendent comments then.
So first, I just want to say congratulations to our athletes. I had such an amazing time last week. I had an opportunity to get to a basketball game and go to a swim meet, and it was just amazing to see the talent of our students on display. From diving, from having one of our football players go into diving and watching that was amazing. And then our cheerleaders are outstanding, both JV and varsity. And so thank you to all of those students and the staff that work with them because they're doing some amazing things. I also want to say congratulations to all of the students that were recognized tonight. We're proud of you, and we are so grateful to the staff and families that support you every day. This work reflects our promises to center every student, support every dream, and show up every day to help our school. Spring conferences are starting soon, and so for our parents that are watching, we encourage families to connect with teachers to celebrate progress, ask questions, and set goals for the remainder of the school year. Please check with your child's building for exact dates and scheduling details. And then finally, count day is Wednesday, February 11th, and attendance matters, as we've been talking about that over and over again. So being present makes a difference in your child's learning and connection to school. We ask families to please make every effort to have their child at school and on time.
Thank you. Any board member comments? Dr. Johnson?
Yeah, so doubling down on what you said of the acknowledging of the music students, that really did my heart good. To see the passion for music, and also see like giving away of instruments, because I know that's been a discussion point about like whether or not students and how early they receive instruments. So that was just really exciting to see, and to see the parents who are also proud of their kids and how whether there's no better feeling as a parent than to hear your children are doing well and they're eager and doing well. So I just want to say thank you for that. I also really like the new family newsletter that came out. So shout out to Maria Ma for her work on that. And I'm looking forward to it growing. And I know this was like the first one. So like all the events and such that were shared today, I would love to see that in those calendars, just as a one source of truth to see where everything is. So just wanted to say it was really good. Very well done. I appreciated the presentations today. And I feel like we learned, somebody said it, I think it was UK, some best practices. And I would love for us to think about how we bottle up some of these best practices for the things that are working well. And even though each building has discretion, if we found something that's working, how do we make that a thing in their own way? But some of those things I think we learned, the assigning of mentors, really fascinating. And some are voluntary, and then some criteria for those who are required. But the mentorship, I loved the Monday attendance boards, just that like consistency and accountability as a leader. Like every Monday, this is what I do, and you know the plan is it goes to this person, and they make calls home. Let me find my notes. The consistent parent engagement, which goes along with the attendance. I love the healthy competition. Like, yes, right? Like leveraging that. Accountability and expectation. The teacher micro learning was a thing, and I forgot to mention this when she was here, but the center's strongest ambassadors are students, and that is so powerful. And I tell people, like, if your marketing budget or your messaging is mainly coming from the leaders of the organization, or the marketing budget is larger than the experience budget, not even integrated with it, we missing the mark. So I appreciate that quote and focusing on the experience of our students. They are the ones that will change the messaging and the narrative, students and families. So great job today. Thank you.
Any other board member comments?
Definitely thanks to the building leaders for the presentations and to the music educators for bringing those awesome kiddos. I loved hearing original composition. That was a new thing. I think that was awesome. Loved all that. Great things happening. And then quick plug, this Thursday, the 12th, is the Cupid Shuffle, Valentine holiday themed event for our youngest Bearcats at Dudley Early Learning Center at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6.
Okay, and then I will have the final comment since I'm the last one. I attended the winter session this weekend for MASB, so Michigan Association of School Boards, and I had 3 different sessions that I attended. So I think it's just like we expect when anybody goes to a conference to give a recap, I'm gonna give a recap. So one was on effective board meetings, another one was on the Open Meetings Act, and another one was about tracking and monitoring data. And in those, the bigger themes that I pulled through or some best practices that I got from some other districts were things that we've talked about in the past as a board, but we haven't really implemented. So I'm gonna talk to President Fulbright about updating our upcoming agenda for the next session to talk about one idea around having rotating working sessions. So going to different buildings, taking this show on the road, so to speak, where we're able to interact, maybe have those presentations, but start to really dig into our data and information. I keep hearing comments from other board members where we're just trying to understand what's best to know or what we should be asking. I think if we have it in sessions where we're moving around, we're hitting different schools, we can have a better understanding, see the actual buildings, and interact with folks who may not want to come to us here. And we'll still have our regular sessions or regular meetings here, but let's be more mobile as it comes to interacting with our district. So that will be something that I propose, and then that'll be a way for us to start partnering and understanding better what data information we need to do our oversight responsibilities, and then also just be present and start actually participating and being accessible to our schools that we're assigned and all of our community that we're interacting with. So that's the high level takeaway that I got from it. I had a whole lot more, but I don't want to belabor the meeting. That's the biggest one. And in the words of President Fulbright, great things are happening at Battle Creek Public Schools. This meeting is adjourned.